Hey, Anime E here, future Anime E to be exact. This video was recorded, this audio was recorded weeks ago, but there's a reason why it's being released right now, and I'm just gonna take the spotlight from him for a minute. One, the computer which was originally this audio was recorded on has completely crashed and died on me. It's completely useless, and we've even taken it to a mechanic, or a computer mechanic, and they said that it's just gone. It's just a waste of time. So I got a second computer, which was one of the reasons why it took so long to get this video out, because I'm a minor, and I'm not legally allowed to have a job in the state where I live. So, yeah, take it forever to get a job. Well, sorry, didn't get a job. It took forever to raise that type of money. Number 2, semester exams. Yeah. And, let's see. What else was there? But yeah, sorry if the audio is just a little bit bad. This audio was taken when I was outside. Anyway, hope you enjoyed the video. Bye-bye. Hey guys, Anime E here, and well, to what if Deku was a duality. Now, one announcement before we get into the video. I am launching a Patreon, and I need you guys to help me with this. Now, this will not be now or in the near future as I can from right now, but some people asked me to make one, and I was just like, you know what, I could do that. It's some extra money, so I did. But I'm launching a preview of it right now, and I want you guys to give me feedback in the comments section. So go check it out. Don't sign up for it, don't pay for it, just check out the tiers, check out the rewards. Let me know if it's worth it, if I need to change the price, if I need to add something, remove something. Let me know. Alright, and I will work on it. And when I finish with all the feedback and perfect it, then I will launch the Patreon. Alright? And to prove I'm not bullshitting you about people asking, right now on screen you'll see a couple screenshots from Discord of people actually asking me to make a Patreon. So yeah. Oh, and the reason why there's white markering all over the place is because for video purposes I edited out their names, the dates, because, well, privacy reasons, so yeah. But these are all real. Well, anyway, let's get into the video. We left off with Deku outside the classroom, hoping the people he were interested were in his class. Now, I'm gonna say this: nobody got it right. Absolutely, no one got this right. The answers were Sue/Froppy, if that's the only way you know her, and Shoto, aka Todoroki. Now, I'm about to explain why. See, Deku is a duality. You guys all know this. So when he sees a frog-human hybrid and a guy that looks like he's basically Two-Face, that's going to interest him. He's going to be like, okay, these guys are probably dualities too. They probably have a half and half side. So that's why he's interested in Sue and Todoroki. There's also another person he's interested in, but I'll get back to that later. But that wasn't part of the original too. That was something I edited into the script later. Alright. So he tries to get Sue and Shoto together to talk to them, but before he can say a word, Aizawa pops up and tells them about the quirk apprehension test. Now everyone's a little bummed, but they start off, and Deku's actually really excited because this means he gets the chance to show everybody his power. So we move on. So we move on to the exam, and Deku and Hisashi excel in everything. Nothing is making them lose. The vice grip, all that training with All Might made them super strong. The running, full cowling made them super fast. The side to side jumps, well, they got average as human, but since we were able to use full cow, their speed of going side to side, it didn't rival Mineta, but it was enough to score him second place, which was still very impressive. Now, we're going to move on to the last event, the ball throw. And as Hisashi, because he's in control right now, Hisashi starts to use as much power as he can to launch this ball, because he wants to make sure that Deku gets into UA no matter what. So he starts using all of his power to channel into this ball, and Aizawa can sense the immense power buildup and immediately tries to restrain Hisashi and erase the quirk. A few seconds afterward, Hisashi realizes that One for All is gone, like he can't use it anymore, and he looks at Aizawa pissed off, demanding to know why the fuck he erased his quirk. Now, Aizawa and Class 1A are startled to hear a grown-ass man's voice coming from Deku, but yes, throughout the whole time, Hisashi didn't talk when he was in control. He just did the thing, and then he let Deku have control. So they're all a little bit startled, and hearing this voice, Aizawa demands to know what his quirk is. And Hizashi answers, "Answer my question first, and maybe I'll tell you." Now Hizashi notices something else, and he goes back inside and tells Deku to stop. See, originally Hizashi was using curse words in that sentence, but Deku was able to suppress that shit real quick. As you can see, he wasn't able to suppress Hizashi, but he was able to suppress a good amount of it. So Hizashi turns around, suppresses Deku for real quick, and then tells Aizawa to answer the damn question. Now Aizawa tells him that his quirk was too powerful and that using it would have resulted in major damage. And Hizashi responds with, "Well, yeah, the point is to go all out, right?" And Aizawa responds, "Yes, but your power would have literally broken the building behind us, so hold back." Now Hizashi, in order to spite Aizawa, quickly powers up to 30%, launches the ball using full cow. Then using full cow, he jumps up with also the propulsion of a smash behind him. And once he gets to about the height of the ball from the full cow throw, he launches another smash directly at it, knocking the ball almost out of the atmosphere. But then Hizashi fires another smasher right after that. So 3 smashes cause this thing to leave the atmosphere. Now Hizashi gets infinite and is super proud that he's super proud that they know that they basically are not getting expelled. So with that, feeling proud, he gives Deku the wheel, who falls to the ground in style though, so he lands without breaking anything, and immediately apologizes to Aizawa and tells him to meet him after school. Now with that performance that Hizashi just displayed, everybody's interested in Deku, and Deku gets first place in the test. Now after school, Deku meets up with Aizawa and he tells him the truth about his quirk, about how it's basically an alter ego that he cannot control whatsoever. In fact, he told him that the most he could have done was basically got him to shut up. So Aizawa, a little bit concerned, but then again, this is the hero course, so he expects more of Deku. He lets him off with a warning and tells him that he needs to get control of it real quick. So, over the next few days, Deku connects with Tsu and Shoto and explains his quirk to them in full detail because they're his friends. He feels like he's obliged to tell them. And he also tells them why he was interested in them from the very start. Now Shoto, aka Todoroki, is very impressed and kind of jealous of Deku because his relationship with his dad is a lot better. I mean, they share a full body. They're literally always with each other. And over the next few days, Tsu tells Deku what it's all about, how it's being a half frog and half human, and how it is a duality sometimes. Now, Deku also befriends a third person that he considers a duality and is very interested in, and this is Tokoyami, bird person, person that's a fusion between a bird and a human. Now, Dark Shadow and Hizashi get along very well, both being quirks of people that basically are dualities, so they get along very well. However, Dark Shadow doesn't really like Hizashi, mainly because he has his one weakness, fire, which is very bright, which can weaken him. But altogether, they make a very good tag team, and if Dark Shadow ever gets out of control, Hizashi can suppress him. Now with that, Deku now has a group of best friends at UA. Alright, so we're going to skip forward to the hero versus villains. It's the same as in canon. The pairs are the same as in canon because I'm unoriginal. Alright, so once the round starts, Deku lets Hizashi take the wheel and Hizashi lets Uraraka into the plan. Now they both head upstairs. They both start heading upstairs, but Deku takes one side of the building to head up the stairs and Uraraka takes the other side. Now, since Bakugo is scared of Deku in this universe, he isn't gonna go for him. He's actively trying to avoid him. Instead, he's gonna go for Uraraka for 2 reasons. 1, he thinks she's an easy target, and 2, if he takes her out, it's a 1v2, and that could possibly give him the advantage to jump and take out Deku. Now, remember this because this is going to be very important later in the series. I don't know exactly when. Future me will have to predict that. But Bakugo is very scared of Deku. But he still wants to make Deku hurt and get revenge on him for what he did and what he put him through at the age of 6. If you don't catch my drift, watch part 1. So he wants revenge, but he's not an idiot and will make his move when it's perfect timing. Alright. So Bakugo, during about the 3rd floor, after not finding it, Deku and Uraraka split. One tries going more upstairs, and Deku heads more downstairs, seeing if it's maybe in the basement. Now Bakugo happens so luckily to stumble across Uraraka because plot. And a few seconds after that, Deku from the 2nd floor can hear a blood-curdling screech from the 1st floor. And he knows this is Uraraka. So after hearing this, he and Hisashi switch places, and Hisashi rushes to where he heard the scream, and he sees Uraraka down in a pool of blood and Bakugo sweating a lot and very tired. Now, seeing this, something happens, well, that hasn't really happened since training. They both agree on something, and Alpha version 1.0 activates, fusing them both together. If you don't remember who that is, watch part 1 again. Now, this one's been through a lot of training, so they were able to activate about 40% of full cal and just went to town on Bakugo. They were knocking his ass around like a damn rag doll and completely destroying him in this battle. So, after about 30 seconds of beating his ass senseless, they decide to stop, and Deku takes over the fusion. He grabs Uraraka and heads upstairs since he's checked all the downstairs levels and there was no bomb there. So, plus, they got the idea that Bakugo came from the upstairs. So, they head upstairs and they finally find Ida with the bomb speeding around at the speed of Sonic. Now, Deku doesn't screw over. He's already thinking that his friend is possibly mortally injured, so he just immediately activates full cal to outspeed Ida, which doesn't really work. He gets about the same speed as Ida, where he's able to land one good punch, knocking Ida to a side of the room, putting him down on the floor. Now in the split couple seconds that Ida is on the floor trying to recover, Deku rushes for the bomb and successfully gets it just in time. Now Deku, Hisashi and Uraraka win the match, and they both collapse right after because using Alpha 1.0 is still very energy consuming and the fusion is still very, very unstable. So using it could potentially cause very bad and potentially deadly consequences depending on how long they use it, what they do while they're in the form, and how much energy they use in one transformation. Now, after witnessing this whole fight go down, All Might starts to put Hisashi on sort of a watch list. He's just keeping an eye out for him. Alright, so we're gonna... Alright, so skipping forward to the USJ arc. Everything goes the same as in canon until Su, Mineta, and Deku get teleported off the boat. You know, that thing happens. Now, Deku lets Hisashi out, and him and Dark Shadow start whooping ass out of the villains. Just completely taking this battle. Now, this is when Nomu comes out and rushes for Aizawa. And Hisashi sees this, freezes up, and runs away from Nomu. So remember in part 0 when I said Hisashi did human experiments to discover immortality? Well, one of the results in his experiment was a very beta prototype version of Nomu. Definitely not the kind that the lead of villains have basically bred with good quirks. It's more of a, oh, I accidentally made one. This was a failure, time to throw it out. So he has a little bit of experience with Nomu, and he knows this is not something that he wants to deal with. So he rushes to get All Might. Kurogiri tries to stop him, but he is too slow because 30% of full cal is very fast. So he gets All Might. All Might arrives, destroys Nomu just like in canon. And during this, Deku and Hisashi rush towards Shigaraki since they sense that he's the leader, and Tokoyami goes for Kurogiri. Now, Hisashi gets a good punch on Shigaraki, knocking him across the USJ, while Dark Shadow is able to bite down and pin Kurogiri. However, Kurogiri is able to escape because when Hizashi is fighting Shigaraki, he gives off a bright light from his fire, which weakens Dark Shadow a significant amount. So Kurogiri is able to escape. He grabs Shigaraki and gets out of there while they're both severely damaged and pretty much almost dead. Now, after the attack, everyone sort of gets a newfound respect for Deku for choosing to get All Might instead of just fighting on his own, and for his immense strength and speed. Now, after the USJ, Sue and Deku, well, they start dating. Well, they were already friends, and he was already interested in her from the second, so I feel like that's the only way to go. Plus, we need a ship for this one, so... And I didn't feel like doing Momo again, so... Yeah, and I didn't feel like being basic by doing Uraraka, so... Sue! It makes most sense to me. So they started dating, and let me just say, it's very awkward to date when your dad is literally sharing your body and can take over and ruin this date at any second he pleases. So this kind of worries Deku every time they go out on a date, but usually Hizashi just takes a step back and doesn't interfere since, you know, he's his dad, he knows. So, that happens. Now, moving forward to the sports festival, since I'm just doing all the arcs, the main events, since nothing really interesting happens, and if something does happen during these times, I will let you know. So, during the end of the USJ and the beginning of the sports festival, Deku and Hizashi have trained a lot more and unlocked a little bit more full cow, not much. And Alpha version 1.0 has gotten a lot more stable and a lot more reliable. However, it's still not perfect, and they will still collapse if they decide to use too much energy or stay too long in that form. It's still unstable and not very reliable, but it's gotten better from the last time they used it. Alright, first event, the obstacle course. Hizashi starts off by melting the ice and launches himself using full cow. And when I say melting the ice, that's because Shoto did his thing where he froze the ground. So yeah. Now, after a few jumps using full cow, he actually catches up to Shoto and apologizes for him. Now, Todoroki is confused why he apologized, but he gets the message after he's hit with a Delaware Smash and sent flying. So Hizashi continues to take the lead and propels himself even further using fire, and keeps the competition away by launching Delaware Smashes out the wazoo. So, he finishes first and has to wait like 10 minutes for everybody else to finish since he basically knocked him back to the starting point. Now, moving on to the next event, which is the cavalry battle. Deku already grabs his team. Sue, Shoto, Todoroki, Todoroki and Shoto are the same people, and Tokoyami. Now, Bakugo is a lot smarter in this what if. He knows to stay away from Deku, so he goes for lower teams. Now, anyone that came for Deku's team got absolutely bodied. It usually went like this. Either Froppy grabbed her with her tongue and Dark Shadow took care of him, or Deku and Shoto did a fire and ice combination, so nobody got close to them. Now, moving on to the 1v1 battles. Shinzo versus Deku goes the same way until the brainwashing occurs, where Deku started off the match, so he's the one brainwashed, but Hizashi is able to take over, not brainwashed. So he is able to attack Shinzo, since he doesn't fall for the trick, since he's able to consider, alright, so he's brainwashed because he answered this, so let me not say anything. So he rushes over, attacks Shinzo out of the ring, and Hizashi wins, and everyone in the crowd goes wild about the fact that Deku is immune to the brainwash. So, moving more to Shoto versus Izuku, because nothing else really happens, just a few fights, they all go the same as in canon. Now, Shoto immediately starts using fire. He's not holding back, he's not using ice, he immediately starts using fire. And there are for two reasons. One, being friends with Deku changed his perspective about his quirk way earlier than it did in the original canon, since Deku basically taught him to look through a different lens and through a different philosophy in life. And two, he knows he's fucked if he only uses ice, alright? He's seen how powerful Deku's fire can get, so he knows he's fucked if he uses ice. So he starts with ice, and Hizashi is able to counter and dodge, of course. What's next? Oh yeah, Shoto block. Well, yeah, he's able to counter. They're able to counter. It basically just goes back and forth between either launching an attack or blocking an attack until Hizashi throws a fire at Shoto, who puts up an ice wall to block it, a very strong one. However, the fireball is able to melt through the ice, but immediately dies after that. And Shoto thinks he's won until right after the smoke clears. The next thing he sees is a fist in his face and Deku screaming Texas Smash, which Shoto immediately gets knocked to the other side of the arena. It's not close. He's out like a light. Alright, now we're skipping forward to Bakugo versus Izuku. This fight is short because all Deku does is just activate Hizashi, and Bakugo literally runs out of the ring. He does not want anything. He doesn't want that smoke. He's gonna die if he goes in there and tries to actually fight. Alright, he's smart. Ish. Alright, so after that, Deku and Hizashi win first place, and the next day, he and Sue go on their first date to the theater to celebrate the win. It goes okay. Hizashi does interrupt a few times. Skipping forward to a few days later, the hero agencies are announced, and Deku knows exactly which hero agency he wants to go to. And for those of you curious Georges out there, it's Gran Torino. But it's different from why you think he wants to go to Gran Torino. I can tell you one thing, it's not because he's All Might's successor. So, with that, guys, that's where I'm going to end part 2 to What If Deku Was a Duality. Be sure to check out the Patreon. Remember, do not sign up, do not pay for it. Just check it out, give me the feedback, I'll rework it, and redo it. Well, rework it, figure out what's going on with it, and then I'll launch it, and I'll let you guys know when I launch it. And there are plenty of perks, so please go check it out. Let me know what you think about it in the comments below so I can change it. And if there's nothing that I need to change, just type "it's good" or "the Patreon is good" in the comment section. And once again, I'm going to show the proof that actually multiple people have asked me this. The screenshots are right there. Remember, the white blurring is for privacy reasons. Alright guys, well, that's all for today. Anime E, signing out. Bye!